Going to jail.
In this episode, a man has spent years in jail and may return. His freedom hangs on the results of this case.
Ms. Lapine, you say you'd always believe the defendant, Mr. Lapine, was your dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then just months ago at a family dinner, you were told by a family member that he's not your biological father. Mr. Lapine, you say you've spent years in jail for unpaid child support.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tomorrow you have yet another court date.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you could be locked up again if today's results prove you are indeed Miss Lapine's biological father.
Here's how she found out he might not be her biological father.
We was at a family dinner and we was all just discussing. Then family members started saying that, well, you don't know if he's your dad or not because you don't look like your dad and he might not be your dad.
Wait a minute, wait. Did you ever heard of anything like this?
No, Your Honor.
Oh my goodness. What did you say?
I went to another family member and asked if this was true, and they just told me that this was not the time or place to talk about it.
It's Mr. Lapine's turn to speak.
4 to 5 years in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
For unpaid child support.
Yes, Your Honor.
For a young woman that calls you and then says, some family member told me you may not even be my biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You actually have a court date tomorrow.
1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
You could be thrown back in jail again for being behind, and yet you still don't know whether you're her biological father.
True. I don't know if I'm her dad or not.
After he got a call from her about the paternity doubts, he started recalling the events that led up to her conception in a bid to try to ascertain her paternity.
Ma'am.
So after you learned her mother was pregnant, did you remember her mother being intimate with anybody else during that time?
I didn't know then. After me and her separated, I was told by friends of mine that they had slept with her and other people.
Wow.
He also claimed her features are nothing like his, compared to his other daughter.
Ms. Lapine, do you feel like she looks?
No, ma'am, she looks nothing like me. And the dark
But your
skin,
other daughter, you claim looks like you.
dark hair, dark skin, skinny, looks identical to me.
His other daughter was called to the stand.
Thank you for joining us. And your name?
Jennifer Lapine.
Mr. Lapine is your father.
Yes.
And you grew up believing Brandy was your sister.
It's just been, after so many years, you think something, and then it comes out, and then you see it affect everybody. It's not just me and her, it's our kids, it's, everybody around it. It's our whole family, because this is what we thought, this is what we believe. And now all of a sudden it's like, it may not be, but.
She also feels Miss Brandy doesn't share any resemblance with her or her dad.
This is a picture we took last week of me, my dad, and my sister.
And you feel like you strongly resemble your father.
Right.
But Brandy does not.
Right.
When you look at this picture, Brandy, what do you feel?
I always thought that I just got my mother's side of the genes. I always thought, I look like my mom, but I always thought I had my dad's attitude.
Okay.
Mr. Lapine presented evidence to court that he had paid child support.
Where I've been paying child support,
Yeah.
I'd go to the courthouse and pay.
Jerome, please pass
I
me
would
that
have
evidence.
it taken out of my paychecks and everything else. I would go to the courthouse and make them take it out of my paychecks all the time. They go back.
Record after record.
They go back to 1998.
Mr. Lapine's wife took the stand as a witness.
And your fear is he's going to go back to jail tomorrow if these results prove that he is Brandy's biological father.
Well, it's every time he goes, I lose a part of my soul.
But you still find yourself in this scary situation because
Yes,
you
ma'am.
haven't been able to catch up on this support. So you still are in fear of getting locked up all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Always.
Miss Brandy said she was given the name of the man who could be her father, and she hasn't started searching for him.
Yes, I have looked for this man, Bill, but there is 239 people.
Oh,
All over
Jerome,
the
let
place.
me see that.
I would not begin to know who to start with.
So you started your
start?
search. You said, let me try to find this gentleman they've named.
Yes, Your Honor.
239 from pretty much every state in the
Yes.
United States.
Yes.
When she was asked how she felt about Mr. Lapine, she had this to say.
Take your time. I know this is difficult because you really don't know, right?
No, I don't.
Tell your father how you feel.
I feel upset that you wasn't there for all them years. And I feel like even though I love y'all to death and I love my brothers and sisters, I feel like that you did more for them than you ever did for us.
It's time for the results.
In the case of Lapine versus Lapine, as it pertains to the paternity of Ms. Brandy Lapine, Ms. Lapine, Mr. Richard Lapine is not your biological father.
No matter what, still my daughter.